welcome to episode 27 of Knitting Needles and Stems. I'm Carrie, I'm the host, and today is Sunday, January 25th, 2026. Today we're going to talk about works in progress, finish objects, knit-alongs, my patterns, how it works, and gardening. You can find me on Ravelry as Kabammer, and on Patreon and Facebook as Knitting Needles and Stems. See below for links to all of those things. So what's new? It's officially tax season, so I've been working extra hours at the office and 6 days a week instead of 5 days a week. During the off season, we actually work 4.5 days because we close early on Fridays, but it's starting to get busy in the office, and I'm hoping to stick to my 2-week schedule, but if I end up having to change it up a little bit, you'll know why. We're getting really close to 100 subscribers. When we get to 100, I'm going to post a poll on YouTube, and everybody vote, and I'll ask what kind of yarn it is that you like, what fiber content. I'll do a few polls, one for the weight, one for the fiber content, and one for the colors. And then I will do a giveaway, and to enter the giveaway, it'll be through a Google Drive form is how you will enter. So look forward to that. And one very new thing that I'm going to do, my very first knit along in the group on Ravelry. This is going to be to use your Advent yarns. So some of us, there's a poncho pattern that I'll post in the Ravelry group. And some of us are going to work on that pattern. You can pick whatever pattern you want, whatever technique you want, crochet, knit, weaving, whatever you want to do with your Advent. But I want you to come over and show me what you're doing with your Advent, and there'll be some prizes for that too. This is going to run from February 1st to April 15th. So look forward to that coming up in a week or so. All right, let's jump right into works in progress. The first thing that I worked on this week is my Corner to Corner blanket by Sammy Bristow. This is the one that I'm using all of the random leftovers for. And I'm just going to hold it up here. I actually put a stitch marker to show my progress. So this is where I was before I started working on it. And so I got about an inch or so done. I finished up all of this green that I was using, and I've moved on to some black. I'm not sure what I kind of think this is Red Heart Super Saver that I've had forever and ever. Like I said, this blanket is going to have all of the colors and all of the weights of yarn. So it's a really colorful blanket. I'm on the decreases, so the rows are getting shorter, but they're still pretty long rows right now. So again, that is the Corner to Corner blanket by Sammy Bristow, using all of my leftovers. Next, I worked on, and I didn't work on this very long, so not much more got done on it, but the Broken Jack by General Hog Buffer. For these, I'm using Biscotti Yarns Bis Sock in the colorway 190708, and I did get part of one more tier done. No, I'm working on the heels. That's what I'm doing. Doing the Fish Lips Kiss heel on here by the Socks Therapist. And I'm partway through the heel on the first sock, because I could usually get this heel done in about 30 minutes, but for some reason I kept just working a short row heel instead of the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which I want the Fish Lips Kiss heel, not the short row heel. So I had to restart, and I'm partway through the heel on the first sock. So again, that's Broken Jack by General Hog Buffer, using Biscotti Yarns Bis Sock in the colorway 190708. And it's like 4th of July America colors. These are going to be my 4th of July socks. So hopefully I'll have them done by the 4th of July this year. Okay, the next thing that I've been working on is my coziest memory blanket. If you remember, part of my resolutions is to add 1 square to this blanket every week, and I've done that. So this is what I have so far. It's growing slowly. I added these 2 squares this week. This one is from the leftovers from Reagan's socks that I made out of the Felice yarn. And this one is leftovers from one of the gnomes that I won a kit to make. So I'm up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares. And once it gets wide enough, I'm going to lay it on my bed. I'm hoping for a queen size, so I'm going to lay it on my bed and make sure that it's wide enough with just a little bit left to hang over the edges. And then I'll know how wide each stripe will have to be, how many squares each stripe will have to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a black border, a black stripe underneath before I start the next stripe of squares. So there will be a stripe of squares with a thin one garter bump row of black in between, and then I'll do a black border all around the outside. So again, this is The Coziest Memory by Kemper Ray. And for this one, I'm using all of my leftover sock yarn or fingering weight yarn. Okay, the next thing, I actually got out my Sea of Flames poncho by Nancy McElmurray. I just worked on this one last night. And I was using the Super Floss for the beads on this, and I decided that I have to order myself a Fleegle beater because the Super Floss just seems so much slower than using a crochet hook. So I started using a crochet hook again last night, and at some point I'll order myself a Fleegle beater. And I didn't mark where I was when I started working on it, but I got about 4 rows done with a few more beads. Oh, for this one I'm using 100 Ravens, Yaksha, and Starry Night, and Apollo. The Starry Night started with this deep purple here, and it goes all the way through to this yellow, which is the Apollo colorway that I have here. So see, this matches. So this will be the bottom, and it'll be the dark purple at the top. And I have beads here from Fire Mountain Gems. I have the yellow beads that I'm using in the purple section and probably through the gray section. And then I'll be switching to these purple beads for the yellow section. I'm really happy with how this is turning out, and it's going a little bit faster using the crochet hook, and I can only put 4 beads on the crochet hook at a time, but it's a lot faster to use the crochet hook than it has been to use the Super Floss. So eventually I'm going to order a Fleegle beater and end up using that, which will hold more than 4. But for now, this works. So again, this is the Sea of Flames poncho by Nancy McElmurray, using 100 Ravens, Yaksha, and Starry Night, and Apollo. Okay, the next thing that I've been working on, and I only work on these when I'm chatting with the Yarniacs. Shout out to all the Yarniacs that are listening. These are just little crochet scrubbies that I'm making out of crochet thread that I got when my friend's aunt died several years ago. Sorry for the zipper. And I don't know how many I had done last week when I showed them to you, but I'll show all of them to you today. So I have all of these, and I'm just holding 3 colors together to make these little scrubbies. I start with 6 single crochets in a magic circle, and then I increase by 6 every row until I get to 60, and then I'm ending it. So you can see all the different colors. They make all these fun patterns. These will be great for scrubbing pots or dishes, which is what I'm making them for. And there's 7. Today I have 7, and hopefully next week. I didn't get to do the Zoom yesterday because my husband wanted me to meet with him somewhere instead. So hopefully next week I'll get to work on some more of these during the Zoom. And they have a weekly Zoom. You should definitely check out their podcast and their Ravelry group. There's a lot of chatter and a lot of informative people there. If you have questions or anything, you can ask, and there's a lot of people who can help answer your questions and give suggestions for everything, not just knitting or yarn related. So check out the Yarniacs, their podcast, and they have weekly Zoom. If you don't have a knitting group like me, I don't have a local knitting group, so they are my knitting group. Okay, the next thing that I've been working on is my Muscle Burra by Isolde Teague. For this one, I'm using the Knit Picks Felici in the olive juice colorway that I made all of the socks for me and my family with. I've got all the increases done for the crown, and I am working on the body. I might just make all of this in the Felici if I have enough to do the double-sided in the Felici. Otherwise, I'll find a nice color, probably a nice solid color to go with it so I can wear it like I do the one that I wear now and fold up the brim so you can see the other color when you wear it either way. So I really love these patterns. All of my leftovers I want to just make muscle burras with. You can always use a nice warm hat. They're really nice to wear. I've been wearing my one that I made out of the titmouse that I made my flax sweater out of. I wear it every day to work, and my ears and neck have not gotten cold. Even with my short hair, nothing has gotten cold. So they work really well for keeping you warm. So again, this is Muscle Burra by Isolde Teague, using Knit Picks Felici in the olive juice colorway. And of course the Knit Picks Felici, the olive juice is not available anymore. They dye colors for one season, and once they're gone, they're gone. So they have new ones now that are great. I mean, they always have great colors. So all right. The next thing that I have been working on is actually a new project that I cast on. It is Nautilus Pompilius by Natalia Moriva. And for this one, I'm using Fiber Optic Yarns Cashmere in the colorways Morticia, which is black, and Tangerine to Ultraviolet. And this is the ball. You can see my progress here. This is the tangerine, and it goes all the way through the colors, and then it will end in this ultraviolet color here, which is like a neon purple. So it's going to be great when it's done. Right now this just looks like a butterfly wing. I could make 2 of these and just make a beautiful butterfly, but I'm not going to do that. I'm making this shawl. So again, this is the Nautilus Pompilius by Natalia Moriva, using Fiber Optic Yarns. Let me get the label here. Fiber Optic Yarns Cashmere in Morticia and Tangerine to Ultraviolet. Yep, they're both the cashmere. I was looking, this one says Unified Gradient, so I guess technically that's what it is. This one just says the cashmere, but they have the same fiber content. So, okay. And I'm sticking with my Cross Stitch Tuesday. So I have my Let's Get Magical by Ursula Michael. You guys, I keep telling you that it's almost done. And it seriously is almost done. Because look, I have all of the words. I'm working on the little accents. Right now, I'm still doing the outline of the hat. It'll have a little star inside of it. And that might actually be the last thing. I have to look at the pattern to see if that is everything. But I'm thinking I'm just going to put this in a frame when I'm done and hang it up at Halloween time. So I think it's super cute. It works up really fast because each night I can see a big chunk of it that I've done. So again, this is Let's Be Magical by Ursula Michael. And it was a kit that I bought from Michael's, actually. So, all right, I haven't done any spinning this week, so let's move on to finished objects. I only have a few finished objects for you. The first one is my 7-inch bear in the round by Catherine Fisher and Judy Home. This one, of course, I just used my leftovers, and he is, oh, he has some strings that need to be cut off. He is going to be donated to the New Life Resource Center or the Echo Health Center here in town. And they're going to put these little bears with quilts that they give to kids that need them and babies. So I think that's a really cute idea. So this is our theme for January was winter bear. So he's wearing his winter blues. And I just think he's really cute. And I really like this fur yarn that I'm using. It's just a recycled sweater that I bought at Goodwill. It was cotton, and I took it apart, and I'm using it for these bears. So this is the 7-inch bear in the round by Catherine Fisher and Judy Home. The next thing that I finished is the secret project that I talked about probably just last week because it worked up pretty fast. And this one was a gift for my husband for his birthday. And this is the Fish Hat, Dead or Alive by Thelma Egberts. And for this one, I used Frog Tree Merino Melange in the colorway 902 and 012. And I actually used another one too. Let me look up. Let me just look and see what that one was. It was another Frog Tree yarn, but this is the hat. Look how cute this is. It is a fish, and when you put it on, it's like the fish is eating your head. My husband's actually been wearing it, so I did wash it and block it and gave it to him actually while he was cleaning some fish. So we have a couple pictures on my Ravelry page of him wearing it and holding a fish up beside it, which is really cute. But okay, the other yarn that I used is Frog Tree Alpaca Chunky, and that was the white. And the 902 is the red, and the 012 was the gray, and the white is number 99. So I thought that it was really cute. I liked the stripes, but it did make for a lot of ends to weave in. And in the pattern, it has you use felt, a little piece of white felt, like a round piece of white felt with the X's on the inside. I think it looks great with just the X's without the felt, which I didn't have any felt to use anyway. So again, this is Fish Hat, Dead or Alive by Thelma Egberts, using Frog Tree Merino Melange and Alpaca Bulky in colorways 902, 012, and 99. And that was my secret project, so it wasn't a very long secret. Okay, now let's move on to knit-alongs. The first knit-along that I participate in is in the Project a Month CAL group. Every month we choose a different free project to make together. And for the month of January, our project was the fish hat, Dead or Alive, by Thelma Egberts. You just saw mine. And that's what we were making for January of 2026. So you still have time to jump over there and make that hat. And we do keep all the threads open all the time. So if you decide, hey, I just saw this podcast, it's the last day of January, I don't have time to do it, you can still make the hat and come over and share it with us. We would love to see it. So that is the Project a CAL month group that we do a new free pattern, or not a new one, but a different free pattern every month. I'm also participating in the Downseller Studio podcast, Pigskin Party, that runs from September 4th, 2025 to February 9th, 2026. I've entered all of my projects that I've done for that I think I'm going to be able to have done by February 9th. None of the projects that I have on the needles now I think will be done by then. So I think that I've included everything that I can in that one. But there's still time to jump over there and join the fun. You have to sign up and they put you on a team and then they tally your points as a team, and she does prizes for the chats and just different prizes for different things. It's a lot of fun over there. I haven't had a lot of time to keep up with all of the chat or any of that or do any of the special challenges that she has, but it looks like it's a lot of fun, and next year I'm going to be more prepared in September to start that. And the last knit-along that I participate in is in the Yarniacs podcast. It is their self-indulgent knit-along, which of course I say knit-along, but it could be, you can use whatever medium you want, just like when my advent-along that I'm going to be doing. You can knit, crochet, weave, spin, whatever is self-indulgent to you. For me, mine is the Nautilus Pompilius shawl that I'm making because of the cashmere yarn. It is so luxurious and amazing that I'm just really excited to have it done. I've had it in my stash for a couple years now. I think 2023 is when I bought the yarn, and now I'm finally knitting it up. So, and the self-indulgent knit-along runs from the winter solstice here in the United States, which was December 21st, 2025, all the way to the spring solstice in the United States, which is on March 20th, 2026. So there's still time to jump in on that one too. Okay, now let's move on to my patterns. You guys, I'm so excited that my mystery critters for 2026 are ready. The patterns are ready. They've been tech edited and they are currently in testing. Now, I have links below to the testing threads. The knit test, it filled up in one day, and that don't ever happen for my tests. If you're interested in the crochet test, I still have a couple of spots open for that one. So jump over there and volunteer. I would love to have you test for me. I'm running the test through March 15th, so there's a month and a half to make a little critter. The critters are only about 6 to 8 inches tall, so they're not a lot of work. They have some interesting techniques, and in my opinion, it makes a really cute critter at the end. So look forward to that. And now I get to go back to working on my shawl pattern that I've been working on for a couple of years now. I want it to come out at Christmas because of the colors that I'm using in it. And I'm hoping to get that done this year too. So stay tuned for that one. Now let's move on to how it works. So earlier this week, well actually it was last weekend, I started going through all of my needles and updating everything in Ravelry. And let me tell you, this book, Dawn's Handy Reference Guide to All Things Yarny, has really helped with getting all the needles where they need to be and getting everything written, because right here on the first page it shows you all of the yarn, the needle and hook conversions. So I could use my needle conversion or my needle gauge tool to check the millimeters of my needle, and then I could mark on Ravelry what sizes I had. I'm getting rid of a lot of double pointed needles, the bamboo ones that I don't use anymore, that I've now replaced with the steel ones. I like the Knit Pro Zing needles for double points. And so if you have any suggestions on how I should get rid of these DPNs, or what I should do with them, or maybe you want some DPNs and I could just send them to you, then that would be great. I just don't want them anymore. I tend to warp the bamboo ones when I work with them. I don't know if I use too tight of a gauge or what, but they seem to get warped when I use them. So anyway, this guide has really helped me with going through my needles and figuring out what I have and how many sets I have and all of that stuff. So now let's move on to gardening. Today I'm going to give you an update on the Woolettes. If you remember back in the summer, Madison and I propagated my Flaming Katie. And I'm going to say that our results are inconclusive on this one, okay? Because here's what we got. The one in the middle is the one that did not have the Woolettes, which admittedly it's not as big and full as these, but this one completely died, so we got rid of it. This one is just teeny tiny, and I think they're just struggling. They're struggling in my house right now. So, because it's been really cold here. This morning was -20 when I went to church, and -40 yesterday when I went to work. So I'm going to call this inconclusive for these. I will definitely try the Woolettes again when I repot my aloe, because I have 2 gigantic aloe plants that are in one pot together, and I plan to separate them and put them each in their own pot later on this summer. So I mean, I could just show you this one and say this is the one that we didn't use the Woolettes on, and look how much better it did with the Woolettes. But I'm not going to do that. I want to be real with you guys. So I do believe that it's a great concept, that if you can use wool that's just going to be thrown away to help in your garden, yes, absolutely do that, because I mean, we have to fully use our resources. Otherwise, we're just wasting, and I don't believe in wasting. So I'll keep you informed. I will keep these going. I mean, I'm hoping that they'll grow into nice big plants at some point. But as for now, I'm calling this inconclusive. So that's all that I have for you today. Until next time, keep doing what you love. Bye.